There we go. Hi, I am Scott Klinker. I head the 3D design department here at Cranbrook for those of you who are coming in from outside. We are very excited to host Giulio Cappellini for a lecture tonight. And tonight's lecture is also hosted by Hayworth from the west side of the state. And I want to introduce Meredith Vinn from Hayworth, and she's going to tell us why Hayworth is hosting a lecture about Cappellini. So,
thanks, Scott. Welcome, everyone. We're thrilled to be able to be a part of this event. Hayworth, for some of you that maybe are not familiar with, is a Michigan-based company. If you are familiar with the powered panel, we invented that, or an articulating keyboard. So amongst those few major designs that we've done over the years, we have also embarked on many great designs as well that many of you probably know of. This year, we made a large acquisition of the Poltrona Frau Group, which is encompassed of Poltrona Frau, Cappellini, and Casino. So tonight, we're proud to announce Giulio Cappellini, tastemaker, architect, educator, and industrial designer.
Good evening, and thanks a lot to be here, and it's my honor to be here in this fantastic place. It's my first time in Detroit, and is my first time in this incredible campus, and really when I arrived this afternoon I was totally astonished, and I think that lucky students, the students that can study here, because I'm used in Milano where we have just, some nice school, but quite small in the center of the city with no trees and so and so. And coming today from the airport, I was looking to the colors of the nature and here, and it's fantastic. Sorry for some of the students that I met this afternoon, because maybe they will hear again some things that I already told to them, but that's life. And sorry also for my terrible English, but I always say that the language of design is international. So Achille Castiglioni wasn't speaking English, but he was giving lessons everywhere in the world, just trying to show to the people now and to tell to the people his passion for design. And I studied architecture at the Politecnico di Milano some years ago. I don't tell how many years ago, but some years ago. And during my university, I had the possibility, because at the time I was thinking just to be an architect. Also, if in Italy, normally at the architecture faculty, we don't have just, in the past, to design and architecture, it was absolutely together. But at the time, I was thinking to be an architect, and during my university, I had a great opportunity for 1 year to be the assistant of Giapponti when he was alive. Giapponti was really an incredible person, a fantastic architect, designer, painter, artist, and so. And really, for me, that experience was really very, very important. It was very important because with Giapponti, I really understood that really to do a project, to do a good project, you have really to work a lot. You have to follow this project with your idea like a baby. And really, for me, it has been a fantastic experience. And so, when I finished my study, I was thinking to be an architect. And at the time, Cappellini was a small family business producing furniture, not design furniture, just furniture. And so, at the time, I was drinking maybe too much. And one evening, maybe I was drunk, and they told to my father, I want to go ahead with the family business. And so he told me, okay, you are free to do that. Take your risk and go ahead. I was very young, and I was thinking that in 6 months I can change everything. No, now I understand that one life is not enough just to do everything that I like to do. That's why I have a long list for my next life of things that I wanna do. So at that time, speaking about early 80s, Italian design was really very well known worldwide, thanks to this incredible phenomena created in the 50s. Now, on one side, a small group of entrepreneurs that believe in design as a new form of business. And on the other side, a small group at that time of young Italian designers, I'm speaking about Gio Ponti, Achille Castiglioni, Ettore Sozzas, Marco Zanuso, and a few others, that tried to push them to create something new. And so this phenomenon really grows a lot and became an international phenomenon, the Italian designers of the 50s or the 60s. That was in parallel of other phenomena, the North European design of the 60s, of the 50s, the international American designs of the 50s and of the 60s. But I'm very curious, and so when I enter into the family business, I told to myself, okay, in Italy many things are going on from the creative point of view, but I cannot think that nothing happened in the world. And so I started to travel, and I started to meet, at that time, totally unknown young designers or students. And really, for me, I always say that in my life, these meetings are one of the most important things. Meetings with incredible people coming from different countries, with a different culture, with a different approach to design. And every time this meeting with them, it was totally different. And, starting from the point, from that time, I started to cooperate with a lot of designers that fortunately, most of them, they became really stars of international design. That's why I say that in my next life I want to be the agent for designers and not only to discover them. Anyway, and so we started to work together, and I start to work on a new concept of the company, because my idea is that design is a fantastic thing, but many times people are still afraid about design. No? People, they like to see design objects in the permanent collection of museums or in the beautiful windows or beautiful showrooms, but they are still afraid to have design products in their home. And so I'm very happy when I see a Cappellini product in a permanent collection of a museum. We have about 32 products into the MoMA collection. My enemies, they say it's because I'm in the committee of MoMA, but it's not true, because when they have to choose a Cappellini product, I cannot give my vote. And but I'm really very, very proud when I see a Cappellini product into people's homes. This is, I think, the real goal of design. Starting early 80s, I started to try to build the brand, because sometimes on Sunday afternoon I try to design something, but for me the most important thing is, and it was really to design the company, to try to cooperate with the Cappellini, many different people coming from different parts of the world, but from my point of view, to try to connect also the very different personalities of these people with the fil rouge that is the project of the brand. And sometimes working with designer, it means just to create a product. Sometimes it means also to work on exhibitions, or sometimes it means to work on communication. And so, for example, here you see just a beautiful exhibition that Achille made with the Cappellini products some years ago at the Musée des Arts Décoratifs in Cologne, in Germany, because they want to do just this exhibition about the Cappellini history. And I called Achille, and they told, Achille, you have not to do just an exhibition like a museum exhibition. Play with the Cappellini products, try to create a sort of Luna Park. And so I created this exhibition that was really very, very successful. It has to be open for 1 month, and at the end it was open for 3 months. Now, I just met the director of the museum a few weeks ago in Cologne, and he told me when we are going to do another exhibition, because we won so much money selling tickets during that Cappellini exhibition that we want to do another one. So unfortunately, Achille passed away. I have to find a new Achille to do another exhibition. And again, I was speaking about meetings, meetings with fantastic people. One of the first meeting, it was with Jasper Morrison. With Jasper, there is a very, very strong relationship. This year we celebrate 27 years of friendship, and during these 27 years we work a lot together. This is one of my, also when they ask to me which are the Cappellini products that you prefer, I always say, for a father is always very difficult to tell which is the best kid. So for me it's very difficult to tell. But really the sinking chair for me is a very important, for my personal story, is a very important product because it was the first product that on which we started a cooperation with Jasper Morrison. I was in London and Jasper was just graduated at that time at the Royal College of Art, and so I went to see the exhibition, the graduation exhibition, and there were about 25 different products, and 24 they were, frankly speaking, so and so, but one I felt in love with this product. And at that time, again, no mails, no sales, and so I asked to the director of the school, who is this student, who is this designer, and he gave me the address of Jasper Morrison. I had 2 hours before to take my plane back to Milan, and so I jumped into the house of Jasper Morrison that was at that time 1 room 3 meter by 3 meter. That was his house, his studio, his laboratory. And really I started to speak, to say, okay, Jasper, I saw the chair is beautiful, I want to produce, and so on. And I remember that Jasper was looking at me just drinking water, and Jasper doesn't speak so much. At that time was saying 1 word per hour, now he's saying 5 words per hour. And he was just looking at me thinking, who is this crazy Italian person that wanna change my life? And so I told, okay, take your time. I will send you a ticket, you have to come to Italy, and we have to speak. 1 week later, he was in Italy, and so eating spaghetti, we decide our future. And really, with Jasper, the relationship is really incredible, because now he lives between Japan, France, and England, but we see every month or maybe twice in a month. But normally, maybe when we meet, we speak just 1 hour about the products, and we speak a few hours about the global concept of the company. The interesting thing doing project with Jasper is that really his products are timeless products. The nice thing is that we sell more and more the product that he designed 20 years ago, and we sell more and more now than in the past. And also really working with Jasper, you understand that, again, if you want to do a good product, you have really to follow the idea and the product like a baby from the beginning. And sometimes it's really very, very stressing. When we arrive to the prototype number 40, I tell to him, Jasper, please make your decision, because we need to go ahead. And so he says, yes, now it's finished, it's okay. And after he come back to Paris or to London, and the day after he send me a mail saying, yes, but that sofa I want 2 millimeters less high, or that chair I want 1.3 millimeters wider, and so and so. But anyway, working with him is really very, very important, because you understand that really details are really the most important thing. And during these more than 25 years of cooperation, we create a lot of interesting projects together, from the thinking chair to the Lotus chair that you saw in the other picture, to the cup chair, to the oblong system. And here we have another interesting person, Mark Newson, and also Mark, I discovered him when he was still living in Australia. And I saw in a magazine just a very, very small picture, but really 3 centimeter by 3 centimeter, of the first job that he had. It was a very, very small cafeteria in Sydney. But he designed a beautiful knob for the door, and I think this designer has to be absolutely fantastic. And so I tried to arrive to him. I tried to find his address, and so I wrote to him. And after I invite him to Italy, and he spent few weeks, and he was living in my house, and he spent a few weeks working with the artisan and doing some products. And Mark was saying, but I want to be just an artist. I want to do just unique pieces. Why you push me to be an industrial designer? And I was telling to him, Mark, you have the total freedom. Do what you like to do. I think that you can do fantastic things, and so you have to do fantastic things, and that's it. And for example, the wooden chair, this project is quite important because this is the maximum curve that you can have with the steam curved wood. And really before, and we work really 2 years on this product, from the first idea to the final product, and we have to change a lot of different woods because many times when you sit, it crash. Finally, we found the right wood, and now you can sit on 4 people and on this seat, and it works. It was quite funny because, a few years ago we had just the Queen Elizabeth II that she was visiting Italy. And so they asked me just to speak with her about Italian design, and so I bring some pieces of Cappellini with me in this meeting with the Queen. And when she saw the Newson chair, she told me, but what is this? It's a chair, my Queen. And but how can I sit on that? I say, no, you have to sit just down there. And I was thinking, oh, Jesus, I hope that everything doesn't go wrong. Otherwise, to pay Queen Elizabeth II, I have to sell the car. I have to sell all my life and the life of all of my friends. She sits and she said, it's also comfortable, and so, and we go ahead. And with Mark, we developed some other projects. You see that in all these, you see the difference between the approach to design of Jasper, that is really very simple, very pure, to the approach of design of Mark. You see the waves of Australian sea. You see these very plastic shapes. Shiro Kuramata again is one of the most important person in my life, because I think that during my first trip I saw in Japan, I saw in an art gallery the Kuramata products. They were just unique pieces. And so I told to myself, one day I have to be able to produce this product. So back to Italy, I contacted a common friend, Ettore Sozzas, and I told Ettore, I saw these beautiful pieces by Shiro, I know that you know him, and I want to contact him because I want to get in touch with him because I want to produce this product. And so Ettore gave to me the address of Shiro Kuramata. At the time, again, no mail, no cell phones, and the only way to communicate with the other part of the world, it was through telex. Young people, they don't know what is telex maybe, but it was just a gray monster that you use just to communicate with the other part of the world. And so I started to send telexes to Mr. Kuramata, saying, dear Mr. Kuramata and Giulio Cappellini, I'm from Italy. I saw your beautiful pieces in this art exhibition in Tokyo, and I want to produce these products, blah, 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 blah. No answer the first month, the second month, and I was sending just telexes. After that, I told Ettore, but what can I do? Because I want to really reach this man. And Ettore told me, maybe you have to send a private letter to Mr. Kuramata because he can read that, because, maybe telex everyone in the office can read. And so I started to send private letters to Mr. Kuramata, dear Mr. Kuramata and Giulio Cappellini, I saw your products, I felt in love with them, I want to produce the first, the second, the third, no answers. Finally, one day I received a letter from Mr. Kuramata saying, dear Mr. Cappellini, today I'm very happy because the sun is shining in Tokyo. So I took the phone, I called the secretary of Mr. Kuramata, and they told, please tell to Mr. Kuramata to stay happy, that I jump on a plane, I come to Tokyo, and I want to speak with him. So I arrived in Tokyo, and Mr. Kuramata spoke just a little bit of Italian, spoke very well English, but he says, no, I prefer to speak in Japan because I don't want to make mistakes with you, so I prefer to speak with using my language with an interpreter. So, okay. And normally traveling a lot, I eat everything. Frankly speaking, I'm not a huge fan of sushi, but I'm a huge fan of design. I spent 6 hours in a sushi bar to try to convince Mr. Kuramata to give to me the possibility to produce. I didn't eat sushi for the next 10 years, I think, because, after 6 hours in a sushi bar, really I was exhausted. But at the end, I had my beautiful Kuramata pieces. And also, unfortunately, Shiro passed away when he was only 56, but now we work with the widow, with Mieko Kuramata, with the widow of Mr. Kuramata, and we work on the huge archivia of Shiro. Last year I made also in Milan and in Paris an exhibition showing also some beautiful drawings done by Shiro Kuramata. And we have some of his products in our collection, but mostly are these chest of drawers, very strange, tall, with incredible shapes. And with these drawers, because Shiro was always saying that, you can use the lower drawers just for the things of all the family, and the higher drawers just to put your secrets. And really, he was working always in a very conceptual way, because Shiro Kuramata never want to design for huge Japanese companies, because he was saying, if I design for a huge company, I became a number. I want really to show my individuality. And really, one of the most beautiful moment in my life, it was in Tokyo, in his studio, just a few months before that he passed away. And at the time he was working on the new showroom and offices of Issei Miyake, and he was just using this plexi material, putting in plexi some color film. And really we spent one afternoon in his studio playing with these color plexi pieces and moving on a table, and they changed the color due to the different position of the sun. And in that case, I really understood that sometimes, without telling any words, and I understood that really many times silence is better than 1,000 words. Tom Dixon, the crazy Tom, a friend of mine, the director of Vogue Italy, Franca Sozzani, she told me, I met the crazy tall English boy that is just singing in a rock band, but he want to be also a designer, go to see him. So I went to see Tom in his dark laboratory. They were working in 10 people doing metal chairs, very hard pieces, chair on which you can sit and so on. So I remember that when I arrived, Tom asked me, do you want a coffee? I said yes. And there were 10 people, and they had just one coffee, and they never washed that coffee. And so I took my coffee in, it was the 11th to drink coffee in the same cup. But anyway, I'm still alive, so it wasn't a problem. And at the beginning, it was really, but what do you want from me? I say, I think that you can do something. No, absolutely. But more speaking with him, I understood that really it was very nice. And he has a very, very good attitude. And so then they told, come to Italy, because I think that we can do something together. In fact, he came in Italy and he stayed quite a lot of time with us, working with all the artisans, doing prototypes, and because it wasn't, and also today is not used to make drawings. And really, it was a fantastic experience for him and also for us. And with him, we create some products, for example, desk chair, that is, I think, today one of the most iconic products of the last period. Or other pieces. As you see, we always like to use different material, because I think that this is an important part of the Cappellini history, because Ms. van der Rohe was used to say that the most important thing is to know materials very well, natural or artificial materials, and you can create, if you know them well, you can create both with natural or artificial materials good projects. So when I work with a designer, I never tell him you have to use this or that material. At the beginning of a relationship with a designer, I always tell, I don't tell to him or her, I need a table, a chair, or a sofa. I just tell, look at the Cappellini catalog and try to do something that can fit in the catalog. After, when the relationship became more strong, for sure, we do projects for the next 3, 5, 10 years. And for which concern the material, many times So we start from the use of the material, and we see some material and say, okay, we have to do something using this material. I don't believe that you have to draw something before and after to decide which kind of material to use just to do a product. Fronzoni, why Fronzoni? It's because in the 80s, in the 90s, working with Jasper Morrison, people, they were saying, Cappellini is a minimal collection, is a minimal company, and so. And I think that Cappellini is minimal like Maximal. I think that Cappellini is chic like Shock, and is contemporary like Bourgeois. And so I told to myself, okay, you think that I am minimal, so I want to produce the manifesto of the minimal design. And these products, and that we started production in 1996, but they were designed by Fronzoni in 1964. In fact, this year we are doing just an exhibition just to celebrate the 50 years of creation of these products. Fronzoni wasn't a designer. He was was an incredible graphic. He made the most beautiful manifesto for exhibitions for Lucio Fontana, Gio Ponti, and many other artists exhibition. And at a certain point of his life, he decided really to create these very, very simple and pure products. And when we think about minimal design, we see that really the proportion, the dimension, and so are really absolutely 100% important. If you change just a little bit the proportion, everything became wrong. During the last years, maybe people, they were looking to a table that it was quite simple, one top and 4 legs, they say, is a minimal table. No, we have to think to the difference. Anyway, one of the most important things of Cappellini is freedom. So we like to work in minimal, and we like to work with maximal. Why I decided to make this product? This product, because Sandro Mendini is a very good friend of mine, is one of the big Italian masters still alive, because unfortunately in the last few years we lost from Vico Magistrati to Achille Castiglioni to Ettore Sozzas, most of really people that they made the history of Italian design. But I decided to produce this collection because this product, the Proust armchair, because really Sandro Mendini created this product before the phenomena of Memphis. This one, it was just a sort of manifesto against the classic Milanese bourgeois design. And so for me, it's a very, very important stone into the history and development of design. After the Proust, a few years ago, we introduced also Proust Geometrica. That is the second version of the Proust. And with Sandro Mendini also, always with him, is very interesting and is very nice to work, because we always, we don't only speak about products, but we like to speak also about the global strategies of the company. And again, Piero Lissoni, we were at the university together, and were considered the bad students, because we were always at the bar and never to following lessons. And so our teachers, they were always telling to us, we were with Lissoni and Dordoni, you will never do anything in your life. We say, okay. And so we were at the bar looking at nice girls. Anyway, and with Piero, so I like always to play, because Piero is very minimal, very simple, and he like always white, beige, gray, light gray. So when he came to the factory to see the prototypes, he find these cabinets of chair in red, fuchsia, strong green, and so he became absolutely crazy. But also with him, but we like to play, sometimes it's necessary to play also in our job. Also, if for sure our job is to create good products, but I think that we have always to look to our job with just a little bit of humor. The Burlesque, the first one, it was Ronan, and my first meeting, it was in France, it was in Paris, and there was just this VIA exhibition. VIA is just a committee that tried to promote French designers, sponsored by some French companies. And I saw just the first project of Ronan that wasn't this, but was just a small kitchen. And I think, wow, this young designer is really a genius. And so I told to the director of VIA, that was he's a friend of mine, but who is this designer? He's a very, very young student. Anyway, if you want to meet him, he's here in the back. Okay, say, absolutely, I want to meet him. And after 10 minutes, nobody comes. After 15 minutes, after 20 minutes, so then they say, but who is, he's so nervous at the idea to meet you that he's just in the back smoking and he doesn't want to come here. And I say, no problem, also I'm a smoker, so I want to come and speak with him. And so we start also this incredible relationship. After the second brother, the younger brother, came and they start to work with him. And it's incredible to develop projects with them because, Ronan has a very poetic spirit in design. Erwan is more technical. And when they come, they start to fight one against the other. If one says white, the other says black. And so at the evening, I told them, okay, go back to the hotel, and tomorrow morning, you may continue the discussion alone. Tomorrow morning, you have to come back, and we have to decide. Now it's few years that we are working on a new project, because again, they are always fighting, more and more than before. In fact, now one is in the studio in Paris, and another one in Bretagne. So they don't work close one to the other, but they work 300 kilometers one from the other. And and we are working on a new project that is not just a project of a single product, but we are trying to work on a more global landscape. And I hope that in the next 2 years, when they start, we can present this. So this is one of the first project that we made, is the cloud bookshelf, and this was quite interesting because it was the first big product produced with the rotomolding system, and we have to build, I think that you will see later, a huge mold to build that. And also with them, we create quite a lot of interesting products in the next year. Fabio Novembre is an Italian designer and architect. He is totally crazy. One day he came in my office saying, you are the only crazy person that I know that can produce this table. If you don't do, I throw away it. And so I say, I'm enough crazy, and we do it. At this table, all the legs are floating, and there are only 4 legs fixed that so that may strong the table. And with him, really, we do strange product, but really successful product. For example, this is a huge system, a huge seating system. For sure, it's not residential, but where people, they can lie, they can sit, they can speak with other people. And with this product, we made really some nice, huge projects. We made a lot of hotels. We made the Terminal 5 by Sir Norman Foster at the London Heathrow airports, and many other interesting projects. And again, Barber Osgerby, now they are quite famous because they designed last year the torch for the Olympic Games in London. And with them, we like to work with many different materials, from ceramic, like these tables, to the solid wood on this stool, to marble and other materials. Here is Patrick Norgay. Also, the meeting with Patrick was quite nice. Sorry, if you start to sleep, tell me that I stop. I was in Paris, and so a friend of mine, she showed to me that she was a journalist. She's a journalist. And she showed me this system to mix different color part of flags. And I said, wow. And she told me, he's a very, very young student and made this thing. I think I want to meet him absolutely, because I think that this is fantastic. What is his name? She told me, I don't know, because I met very quickly, but I try to find the name and the phone number. And so it was 8 o'clock in the evening. Finally, at midnight, I had the name and the phone number. And so I called him, and he was sleeping. And I was so he answered me, and I told him, and Giulio Cappellini, and he put down the phone. And the second time, and the third time, the fourth time, I said, please let me speak, because he was thinking that he was a friend of his that was playing, about that. So I said, I saw your idea. I think that is fantastic. We have to do a chair. So the day after we met, and we made this chair. And after we make another project that was this armchair. the Riviera armchair that really, when I saw in a solid color, I say, we made the first chair that was so incredible with these palette of colors. So we have to try to do something different, something strong also on this product. And in fact, we went to the Archivia in Florence, thanks to the help of the daughter of Emilio Pucci of Laudomia. Emilio Pucci has been one of the most important Italian fashion designer, but also artist and painter. And so looking at the Archivia of Emilio Pucci, we found some original patterns of the 60s, and we print these patterns just to cover this chair. And again, Marcel, another fantastic person, I saw just the first prototype on a magazine of the knotted chair. And again, I asked to some friends, how can I reach Marcel? And so they gave to me the phone call. It was Saturday evening. And the lady answered to me, and I heard this lady saying, Marcel, there is someone from Italy asking for you. Okay, and so he comes and says, I'm Giulio Cappellini, I want to meet you. I say, do you have a studio in Amsterdam? Yes, we can meet, you can come, and so. So 2 weeks later, I went to Amsterdam. And he hadn't a studio, he asked just a room because he was living outside of Amsterdam, and he asked a room to a friend of him, and he spent a few money that he had just buying a cappuccino and croissant for me, and he makes this nice display of the prototypes on which he was working. And really, I told him, okay, we spoke, and said, okay, you have to go ahead. When you're ready, call me that I come back to see you in Amsterdam. And after 1 month, it was just lunchtime, so no people in the factory. Someone told me, there is a strange, tall man, is not speaking Italian, with a small truck that is asking of you. And so it was Marcel that rented a small truck with all the prototype inside, and he came just in Italy to show me. And all these prototypes, they became real products with him. Marcel, when you think to Marcel Wanders, you think just like a rock star. But I have to tell you really that he's an incredible person that works 14 hours per day. And he has now a fantastic team of people working with him. And from the room of his friend in Amsterdam, now he has a huge studio, 4th floor, with a beautiful view in Amsterdam. And also, recently I was there because we were in a committee of a design prize that told to Marcel, do you remember when you told me that you had a studio in Amsterdam you did not have, and when you spend a few money that you have with them just to buy croissant? And anyway, we start our relationship. This is another product that we made together, the tulip and armchair. And the idea it was to create, starting from the inspiration of the tulip armchair, of the egg or the swan armchair designed by Jacobs, and to try to make in a new way. Because also, today to design something new is absolutely very difficult, because the most beautiful shapes have maybe done in the 50s, in the 60s. But today we have the possibility, using different materials, different technologies, different production systems, to do something really new. For example, this armature is quite hard. This is a co-injection, the material. And just to cover this armature, we need 4 people working together, because the fabric is stitched on the shell. Because again, in Italy, it's very, very important always to try to mix, technology with the artisanal way of working. And when we present really this product, I was telling to myself, maybe we will sell few to some design victims or collectors. Fortunately, it's really a very, very successful product, because we are using this armchair in many different lounges, in airports, in banks, in hotels, and so. Because, when it's like a small house, you have your own privacy when you sit inside. So if you need to do a phone call, you can do in your privacy, and so. And after we made also the small sister that is Dahlia, and this is the small sister of the tulip armchair. And again, Claudio Silvestrin is not just a designer, he's more an architect. It was just because Mr. Fronzoni, he had also a graphic school and design school, And so Claudio was really studying with Mr. Fronzoni. That's why I put just the Claudio Silvestrin table with the Fronzoni chair. And the interesting thing of this table, very minimal design, is done all in solid walnut. But you see that the color are all different because it's done with 5 walnuts, but coming from 5 different continents. And so you see that the same material coming from different parts of the world is totally different. And again, François Zambourg from France. And again, Nendo from Japan. I discovered Nendo 8 years ago when he came alone just to show his own small pieces at the Salone Satellite. The Salone Satellite is just the space for young designers at the Salone del Mobile during the design week. Now Nendo case. At the beginning, there were 2 people in the studio. Now there are 80 people, and they are working a lot. And really, during these years, we developed quite a lot of interesting and successful product. And they worked so much. If I call them at midnight, when it's midnight in Tokyo, someone answer me in the studio. And these are some of the last projects that we made with him. And why I decided to work with Nendo? Because I like this idea, and they remember me not only because he's Japanese, but you remember to me just a little bit of Kuramata, this idea of quite immaterial projects. And when he designed this bookshelf at the beginning, he had also the back. I say, wow, I want something really material with you, so we have to try to do without a back. And he told me that is so thin metal, how we can do? Okay, we try. And at the end, in fact, we can build this small bookshelf without the back. And after, Nendo, fortunately, sorry, the image is not so good. He was always sending me projects to do just in black and white. I say, but because sometimes I really like to play with designers, but you're not a so great designer. Normally, great designers, they have their own color. If I think to Jasper, I think to blue. If I think to the Burley brothers, I think to green, and so and so. So he came back to Japan, and after 3 days, he sent me a palette of 300 colors, saying, now you have to make your choice. So we choose 3 colors, sorry, that fortunately you don't see very well, related to the nature of Japan. So there is the color of the sand, there is the color of the small stone that you can find in the rivers, and so. Here again is Adam Gudrum from Australia. Here again we have a drawer from New York. And with him, I told him, I want to create just one piece that is like a no couture piece. And because I want to show something really spectacular that we can do in Italy. In fact, this is just a piece, one piece of strong felt, and there is only one company in Europe that can do this double felt so strong. And we need 3 ladies working together just to put together all this huge piece of felt that after is fixed with some clips. And here again, Todd Broker. And here again, Rohej from Israel. And this is just the last product that a few months ago entered into the last Cappellini product that entered a few months ago in the permanent collection of the MoMA. This is quite interesting, the technique of this tool, because it's a very, very, very thin wood. And we put in a mold, and after we inject with foam. But in the meantime that we inject the foam, we move the mold. So each, depending how the foam it moves inside this shell of light wood, the shape is always different. So this is what they call a post-industrial production. That means it's a product built in a totally industrial way, but each product is different from the other. Here again is Doshi Levien. She's from India and he's from England. And it's very interesting. They are married, and it's very interesting to work with them because really she's very sophisticated. She's looking to the details of the fabrics, the details of the stitching, and so. And he is very strong from the technical point of view. And again, Leonardo Talarico is a very, very young Italian designer. He's only 22 years old. And again, Sylvain Villens from Belgium. And again, Daphne Lawrence from Holland, they created this lamp. And again, Glim Studio from Sweden. This is for me quite interesting project because it's part, I already spoke with some students this afternoon, of a new project on which I started to work a few years ago. After that, I've seen a beautiful exhibition about art, about African art in Paris. And, Cappellini used to work with really designers from all over the world, but I think that really normally when we speak about design, we speak about industry and we speak about designers, and maybe we don't speak enough about artisans. And so in Italy we have fantastic artisans, but I think that there are also fantastic artisans everywhere in many different places in the world. And so I start with this project, Cappellini Love, working with the artisans located in some in different countries in the world. Maybe some of them are really with the fragile economy countries. So we started with the first project in South Africa with the Fondation Nelson Mandela, doing some products using the recycled material and using the raw material that you can find there. And after we made this project, this is produced in Vietnam using the technique of the old, is an old technique that they are used to do the small boats or the baskets. And we try to turn this old technique of production in a more contemporary way. And also the graphic was done by a Swedish designer. And also formats with love. For example, this lamp is done with a very, very special metal, and there is only one company in Sweden that is stitching the metal in this way. And this is a sort of secret. Nobody knows how they do that. And they do this stitching of the stretching of the metal since 300 years. And again, Jacob Wagner from North Europe, and again Bakery Studio from Israel. They created this small stool and table. This is just one piece of aluminum, and it's just laser cutted. And we made this for the new museum in Tel Aviv, and after we put in our collection. And again, Benjamin Hubert from England, and again Zanini de Zanine from Brazil. And again, Martin Solem, he's very, very young. This one, for example, this project was a project that he made for his graduation in Copenhagen. Okay, here is a group of the young students and the young designers coming from different parts of the world. You know, in Main Dream there is also the production. I was speaking before about production. This means being an Italian company, on one side we have to think to the new technologies, we have to try to work with strong technology, but on the other side we have totally to defend also the use of the hands, the artisanal way of working, because as I always say, you know, maybe a machinery can work well and exactly the same everywhere in the world, but you know, the human touch is absolutely very, very important. And for example, here we see the iPad of Morrison. And when we made this product years ago, at the beginning, the idea was just to fix not the leather or the fabric on in a mold on the shell with the foam. And our idea it was to follow the same way of construction of the car seats, but really at the end it wasn't possible, because you know the car seats has normally a bidimensional cover. Here we have to work on a three-dimensional way, and so we use the same technique that normally are used for sneakers, for the sport shoes, where they mix a nylon with leather, plastic with nylon, and so and so. We work really a lot. We work for 2 years, and at the end we finally arrive to do this product. And this product is really, as you see, a mix of something that is really new in terms of production, with at the end the human touch that refine the pieces. Here we see the production of a rainbow chair. And the rainbow chair also is a very sculptural piece, but for example, in the process of production, you see is laser cutted and, for example, is glued with ultrasound. Is not glued with the normal glue, otherwise you can see some spots inside. So is a more an art piece where we mix again materials, interesting new materials and new technologies with again the hand of the man. Here, for example, we have cloud. The cloud is the cloud by the Burulek. Here, we decide to make an 100% technological product. We have to build this huge mold, because as I told you before, this one, it was really the first product done with the rotomolding system, but a huge product done in one piece, because normally with the rotomolding system, they were doing just small objects. And so we built just this special mold that enter into this machinery, and it is called rotomolding because you put inside the material into the mold, and in the meantime, the mold, it moves, and all the material goes inside. And this is fantastic because, we have just the white version with this rotomolding system, and also the multicolor the multicolor version, because we put here inside all recycled material. And it's fantastic because sometimes when it's white, we need to clean all the recycled material. But sometimes we put different things from the cover of the cells in many the cell phone in different colors and so. And so again, also there is interesting because each piece is just produced by machinery, but each piece is really a unique piece. Here are all the steps of the production. Here we have Lotus, again of Jasper Morrison, and with Lotus we use in a different way, but the same technique of production of the iPad chair that I showed to you before. And also, so in Lotus, again, is a mix of injected foam or mold of technology with the final touch. And I think that today, when we speak about design and about production, as I told you before, we can do a product that is 100% just with a strong industrial production, and a product that can be a mix of industrial production and artisanal production, or can be totally artisanal. And the thing that is interesting, if you look to this image and you see this image, on one side we have the technology, and on the other side we have contemporary design built in Vietnam with the old technique of baskets using algae. Another of my dream is, because normally, I see my products in my factory, so it's just to make exhibition and events. Normally, okay, we participate also to trade fairs, but many times I look also to strange places like old, totally destroyed factories or other location where to make shows and make presentation of our products. Here is just the exhibition that was designed by Achille Castiglioni that I already showed you before. Sorry. This, for example, we made a few years ago in Germany, and it's quite interesting, the architecture of this building. This building was a building where they were used to produce engines, diesel engines, and it was totally empty. And when I saw this building, I thought, wow, it's incredible, it's beautiful, I wanted to do that. And in fact, from the top of the building, you can see downstairs, and we create this virtual home without real walls. And I remember that this building, it was huge, and it was January, it was so cold. We started to work on that in 80 people, and then we were only 20, because all they get ill, because it was really so cold, and so, but it was really a fantastic piece. And I'm very happy because after this exhibition, they restored this beautiful building, and now is a museum. This one, it was another exhibition that we made at Harrods in London. I created this box with our pieces, one part inside and one part outside of the box. Here, this one, it was another exhibition with the Jasper Morrison and Achille Castiglioni products, but it was an homage of Werner Panton and the beautiful exhibition that he made in the 70s, Visiona. And this is a nice story because, as I told you, for sure, we have to produce products, we have to think to the end consumer, we have to try to do useful and also beautiful products because nobody needs of useful and horrible products. But sometimes, as Achille Castiglioni was used to say, we have really to work with just a little bit of humor and we have to play. So one day I told to myself, I want to try to do something quite impossible. I want to try to make a project with two people, with two designers, that if I ask to them to work together, this will never happen. And so I say, okay, I don't tell them that they have to work together. So I asked this one, it was an exhibition that we made in Milan, and I asked to Jasper Morrison to work on the floor for this exhibition. And Jasper was asking me, but what is happening on the ceiling? I was saying, no, just is a white ceiling, we put some light and that's it. And so Jasper created this floor with these strong color stripes and with these circles on which to put the products. And after I asked to another friend, Philip Stark, to work on the ceiling, Philip was asking me, but what is going on the floor? No, the floor is just concrete and we put only the products. We display the products on the floor. And so Filippi created these floating silver clouds. The day of the opening, when they arrive, they look at me and they say, and Philippe say, who made that? And just to say, who made that? And they told to them, you both. At the beginning, they tried to kill me, but after they shake their hands and they were very happy to have done, without knowing that, but this project together. And if we want to create something surprising, we cannot be only too much serious. And also now I'm becoming older, so I think that I can be also less serious than in the past. Other exhibition also here, we like to play with the scale of the products. No, we put together different things, we play with different colors, and so. And every time we try to work on a different. To try to show our products in a different way. For example, this one it has been just a traveling exhibition of our main products. This exhibition was traveling in all Europe, and at the end we made an auction with all these pieces for a charity. And you see, and this one, it was in Amiens, in a beautiful old church in France. And you see, it was a very simple display. That means the boxes that we use as podest to show the products are the boxes that we are using just to transport the pieces from one city to the other. Here is another funny story. One year at the fair, I created just a round glass house with a real family living inside and with the people looking at them from outside. And they live in this glass house for 1 week. They survive. Anyway, they had some nice art pieces and furniture inside. And we are still friends with this family. So, but it was incredible because the people from outside say, "Oh, look!" And these people, they were sleeping, eating, and so and so. And good. These other exhibitions, for example, on this exhibition, I tried to work on again on this concept of the out of scale. So this is like a huge, giant doll house, open with all the different ambience of the house inside. And here again, other exhibition, this the Milano Fair at the Salone del Mobile, with all these color boxes put one on top of the other. And on this, for example, I decided not to use real objects, but only real furniture, but just the paintings, the doors, and also the objects are drawings on the walls. And again, other exhibitions, and just to finish, this is just the cover of the last catalog of Cappellini. I like very much contemporary art. I collect contemporary art also, and really the painter that I get crazy for is Jean-Michel Basquiat, because he was used to say that he was getting his inspiration from the drawings of kids 4 or 5 years old. And so I took just a young Italian kid saying, okay, try to imagine Cappellini with your spirit. And so I create this drawing with some shapes of the Cappellini products, some trees, some architectural buildings, and so. Because, I think that really, again, as I told to you before, no, in our job, we have really to build, to do new good products and so. But I think that the most important thing is really to make people smiling and dreaming. And really, I think that you can do that if every day you work with this, but mainly with this. Thanks, Detroit.